Hello ladies and welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, and in today's video we are finally in my room. I'm sitting on my bed in my room. Also, look at this. My sister got me this for Christmas because I'm a bit, or not Christmas, my birthday, because I'm a big movie fan. And so it's all like the top 100 movies of all time, and every time you watch one you have to scratch it off, and then it like reveals like a scene from that movie. So that's Shawshank Redemption. I watched it last night, dude. That's like the best perfect gift for me because I love movies. Like, I'm a big movie fan. I've watched like half the movies on this list already, but I'm gonna restart. But anyway, yeah, it's a really cool gift, so that was awesome. But anyway, yeah, we're finally filming in my room today, which is a good thing because you guys get to see part of my room, I guess. But it's a bad thing because the reason why I don't film in here most of the time is because it's loud. I always have the windows open and the cars are driving by my house all the time, so you can hear that. Everybody else in the house is like pretty much right outside the door, so you're gonna hear them. But there's pretty much no one here, so hopefully it should be good. And in today's video, we're gonna be going over the top 17 best cars with pop-up headlights. Why 17? It's such a random number, such a weird number. Why 17? Because I was gonna do just the top 10. And then I started thinking about this car, and that car, and this car, and I was like, oh, I can't take that car off the list, oh, I can't take that car off the list, and now we got 17, because I'm indecisive. Without further ado, let's get right into the list with number 17. And number 17 is going to the Nissan 240SX S13. I know you may be like, what about the 180SX, partner? What about the 180SX S13? Why isn't that on this list? Well, because I'm from America, and so, you know, 240SXs are more common for us over here, and so it's just something that was on my mind, man. Either way, you know what I mean. It's the S chassis. These things are, oh, so gorgeous. In terms of their performance, obviously they're not that great, you know. It's no hidden gem here. These cars are not the best in terms of their performance, especially not the 240s with a KA, just not crazy. But in terms of looks and just like legendary status, whoo, you talk to a drifter, man, and you say even the word S chassis, they're gonna pop a stiffy. Number 16 is going to a car that I admittedly don't know much about, and I only really know a bit about it from like video games. The De Tomaso Pantera. If I had to guess, I'd say this is like some sort of like almost kind of like what Roof does with Porsches. You know, they're kind of like a tuning company for what I would guess is Ferrari, but I honestly don't know, so don't quote me on anything I say there. But in terms of their looks alone, the pop-up headlights on these bad boys just work so freaking well. I mean, you're gonna see that there's a lot every car here is older because we got rid of the pop-up headlights thing in like the early 2000s. But this is one of those ones that just flew under the radar of everybody, and I feel like it deserves some more love. Look how gorgeous! It's like a especially with the little wing on the back, man. It's like a compact Lamborghini Diablo. But 15th place, let me tell you guys a little something. I'm a little bit of a rally fan, okay? I enjoy watching rally and hill climb events and stuff like that. And so the Lancia Stratos has always been one of those cars that have just been like, whoo, when I see it, I just get excited. Now, I've actually never seen this car in person, which makes me want to cry and hide under a bridge for the rest of my life. But in video games and stuff, dude, these things are sick. Obviously, their rally heritage is pretty good too. I think people overhyped these cars a little bit. They were good, but they weren't even the best Lancia out there, okay? Just saying, they were not the best Lancia, okay? In their class, they weren't even that competitive. They're sick cars, and their pop-up headlights just work so well, but they actually weren't the best rally cars. 14th place is going to a car I talk about in a lot of my videos because I freaking love it, the Chevy Corvette C5. This is finally a car, like the Pantera and the Stratos are both cars that I really don't know much about their actual performance, just like how they look and their legendary status, their heritage, I guess you can say. But with the C5 Corvette, I actually do know a lot about this. These cars come with an LS. They're little muscle cars, but they handle well. If you want someone like I understand why people like muscle cars, you know, like Mustangs, Challengers, Camaros, whatever. I get it. They like to go fast in a straight line. But I've always been the kind of guy that likes the handling stuff. And these cars are like the best of both worlds. Corvettes always have been, and the C5 Vets are like 10 grand right now. Last generation with the pop-up headlights. They look incredible. They handle incredible. They have an LS, so they're fast as hell. Oh, love them. Gotta love them. 13th place is the final time that the Toyota Celica had pop-up headlights with the Toyota Celica GT4 5th generation. However, even though the 5th gen is the last one with the pop-up headlights, and so you may be thinking, well, that's probably the coolest one then. No, I think the 6th gen is actually the coolest, even though they have the spider eyes. I think that one looks the best, but either way, the 5th gen is still pretty freaking sick. These things, the way that their front end looks just in general, even if they didn't have pop-up headlights, is like really cool. Like the way the grille is awesome. It's like on the front, like above the front bumper, but in like a really long line. It's just really sick. Obviously the GT4 is the all-wheel drive version, the rally version, and that thing was incredible. Like god, they're so underrated, dude. GT4 Celicas no one talks about. They deserve to be like a JDM legend, and no one cares. It hurts. 12th place is another one that was like the last one of the line to do it. The Toyota MR2 SW20, the Toyota MRS, which was technically the next Toyota MR car, did not have pop-up headlights. The MR2 AW11 and SW20 did. The AW11 could be here too if you want to. I just put the SW20 because it is technically better in terms of their performance. I also like the SW20 looks better over. Okay, you know that thing I was just telling you about, that poster that I put on my wall that I was showing you in the beginning? It has a mind of its own. It is moving right now. I don't know why. But anyway, yeah, the SW20 is a sick-ass car. It's good at handling. It looks incredible. Does have a mid-engine, so does experience some snap oversteer, but you'll get the hang of it, man. And it has pop-up headlights, so who cares if you die in it? If you die in a pop-up headlights car, it doesn't count. 11th place is a bit of a cheat code because it is going to... See, hear that? You hear that truck that just drove by? That's why I usually don't film in my room. But it's because it's going to the 1969 Chevy Camaro RS/SS. These technically don't have pop-up headlights. They have like pop-down headlights, but they actually have a word for them. I can't think. The hidden headlights, that's what they're called. They have hidden headlights, and so there's these little like slots that come down in front of the headlights when they're turned off, and when they're turned on, those slots go back up. The headlights themselves stay put though, they don't actually go anywhere, but I'm gonna count it. The headlights are hidden, and goodness gracious, do these things look incredible when the headlights are hidden. A lot of muscle cars did this back in the old day, but I think this 69 Camaro did it the best. I think it just works so well. 10th place is one of the most underrated cars of the freaking 90s, bro. The Lotus Esprit V8. Is it incredibly unreliable? Yes. Does it really not compare too well with the cars that it was going to try and compete against, like Lambos and Ferraris? Yes. Is it really expensive for what it was? Yes. But is it cool as hell? Yes. And did it have pop-up headlights? Yes. This Lotus in general has always just been so freaking sick. I love everything they do, and the Esprit is no different. They just oh, they snack. And this is like the second generation of the Esprit. The first gen is pretty cool too, but the second gen, they really nailed their design choices on this car. And again, yes, I get that it's not as great as something like the Diablo or the F40, and those are like the cars that it was trying to compete against. But it doesn't need to be, man, because it's still just a beautiful car. 9th position is going to the Toyota Sprinter Trano AE86. Now this is 100. I've said this in multiple videos, and I'm going to say it again. The AE86 is 100% pretty overrated. Like, I do not believe that the AE86 deserves to have all this crazy fame and be worth like 30 grand for just a rolling shell. Like, these things are realistically just a Corolla that's rear wheel drive, and that's kind of the reason why people like them so much. The 4AGE, people can hype it up as much as they want. It revs high, that's pretty cool, but it really isn't the best motor either. But either way, the AE86 in terms of their handling deserves the praise. These little freaking pocket rocket little missiles, this was like the Miata before the Miata was a thing. These things are incredible at that. On top of that, even if they weren't like an actual good car and they genuinely were just a piece of junk, it would still deserve to be on this list just because of the legendary status it has managed to like acquire. 8th place is probably one of the most iconic cars on this list. Everybody knows it. Everybody likes them. Everybody wants one, even if you're a Euro guy, even if you're a JDM guy. It's the Plymouth Superbird. Who in the world does not want one of these cars? They're freaking gorgeous. They're insanely cool. Everything about the Plymouth Superbird is cool AF. The giant wing on the back, the incredibly aggressive, like, shark nose front, everything about it is just cool. No car in the world has ever come close to being anything like this. Like, this is the Plymouth Superbird. The only one that's obviously close is the Dodge Charger Daytona, but that's obviously just pretty much the same car. They're just, oh, they're so cool. And then the fact that they have pop-up headlights too, count me in, daddy-o beans, okay? Count me in. I want it. If it wasn't like $300,000, I'd have one. 7th place is going to, again, probably one of the most iconic pop-up headlights cars. I would actually say this is probably the most iconic pop-up headlights car, the Mazda Miata NA. I mean, come on. You think of pop-up headlights, this is the first car you think of. Even if you hate the Miata, which there are a lot of people out there that do nowadays because they want to be different. Even if you hate the Miata is still the first car that pops into your head when you think of pop-up headlights. It is just iconic. Is it actually like a better car than the Superbird, than the Lotus Esprit V8, than the MR2, than the AE86, than the Celica, than any of the cars we've gone over so far? No, probably not. It really just depends on the type of person you are, but that doesn't matter in either way because of it's just that legendary. It's a household name. You go into a house that banishes cars, that all they drive are Teslas, and you say the word Miata, and they're gonna know what it is, and that is why it deserves number 7. The car that deserves number 6, however, is going to one of my favorite pop-up headlights cars in the world, the BMW M1 Pro car. I'm a big BMW guy, as you guys know. I enjoy pretty much every BMW out there. There's really not many out there that I don't like, and the M1 Pro car is one of their most impactful. I wouldn't say legendary because, again, this is one of those cars that really, like, not a lot of people know about. In order to know about the M1 Pro car, you kind of have to be a car guy. Like, if you go up to some random guy and you're like, hey, I got an M1 Pro car, they're just gonna be like, I don't know what the hell that is, man. I couldn't care less. But if you go up to a car guy, they're gonna drop on their hands and knees and start praising to you. These things are incredible. They're good at pretty much everything they did. They entered into rally races. They were obviously circuit racing cars. They were BMW's only true supercar, in my opinion. And the fact that they have pop-up headlights just makes them that much better. Fifth place is 110,000% just personal bias, and I don't care if you disagree with it. The Mazda RX-7 FD3S. This is my favorite car in the whole wide world. In case you didn't know, in case you're new here, the FD RX-7 is like pretty much my dream car. Like I want one more than anything else in the world. Obviously, if I had like infinite money, I would probably want something like a McLaren P1. I love those cars. But a realistic dream car, this is it. I love everything about the FD RX-7. I think it's absolutely incredibly gorgeous, handles incredibly well, fast enough, especially for its time. Yes, it's unreliable, but I'm willing to pay that since I get to hear the brap, 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 brap of the rotary. That's insanely cool too. Everything about the FD just screams hello to me. And the biggest thing, I've said this before, yes, I love the pop-up headlights. I hate when people modify them and put fixed headlights in the FDs. I freaking hate that. But the one thing I love the most about FD RX-7s is their freaking tail lights. They're so gorgeous. All right, coming in at fourth place, however, is one that is again kind of a little bit of a cheat code. It's the Jaguar XJ220. And the reason why I say it's a little bit of a cheat code is because only about half of them actually had pop-up headlights. And when they first came out, they had pop-up headlights, but then over time, they managed to change it to fixed headlights only. So obviously, we're going to go with the pop-up headlights ones, though. So if you got a problem with that, fight me, partner. Fight me. What you going to do about it? The XJ220 is, I mean, come on. Come on. I saw one of these things in real life one time. It was the weirdest way of seeing it, too, by the way. I was delivering car parts when I used to work at an auto parts store, and I walked into a garage, and they were working on one. And I was like, what in the world? And they truly are as long as they seem in video games in real life. Like, this thing was the longest car I've ever seen. They're so long. It's really weird. But they're incredibly gorgeous, and they're freaking insanely fast. They had like 600 something horsepower in the 90s. Supercars today are barely like they're making 600, but it like just started happening. Like back in 2020, they started making 600. They were not making that for a long time though. Third place. It's kind of another one like the XJ220 where half of the car had pop-up headlights and the other half didn't. It's the Honda NSX NA1. Technically the NA2 is the one with pop-up headlights. This poster that I just put on my wall, it has one piece of tape holding it on now. All three of the other pieces of tape have flopped off at this point, so I gotta tighten that when I get a chance. But anyway, the NA1 NSX is incredible, man. I love the NSX. I'm starting to love it more and more and more too, which is kind of interesting because Jesus, there it goes. There goes the poster. I knew that was going to happen. But yeah, I'm starting to like it more and more, which is interesting because before I liked the FD, I loved the R32 GTR. That was like my dream car. Then I found out about the FD. I fell in love with that. And now I'm starting to look into the NSX more. And I don't think it'll dethrone the FD because I just truly love that car so much. But this thing is insane. It's literally just a Honda supercar. And that's cool AF to me. And second place is going to another one that's kind of a cheat code, the Lamborghini Diablo. The reason why I say it's kind of a cheat code is because it suffers the same fate of the NSX and the XJ220. Half the time that it was built with pop-up headlights. Then the other half, it was built with fixed headlights. By the way, fun fact, I feel like everybody knows this by now, but I'm going to say it anyway. When they put the fixed headlights in the Diablo, they used the same headlights out of the 300ZX Z32, which is pretty cool. So that's another car that has cool pop-up headlights, by the way, the Z31 300ZX. They had pop-up headlights, right? Did they? Oh, now I can't remember. Either way, Diablo is awesome. It's one of my favorite supercars out there. I've always been a big fan of Lamborghini. I love the Murcielago. I love the Diablo. Not a big fan of like the Aventador or the Huracan, but the Gallardo is sick. But either way, the Diablo's insanely cool. I think it's so slept on. Like, notice I didn't put the Countach on this list. People are gonna be like, he didn't put the Countach on this list? How dare he? But because I like the Diablo, I think it's better in every single way. Name one way that the Countach is better than the Diablo, and I'll take that back. But I can't think of any. But of course, with all those legendary pop-up headlights cars out of the way, you knew what first place is going to be. It's the Ferrari F40. I have said time and time before that I think the F40 is overrated, and I stand by that. However, I'm not an idiot. I'm not stupid, and I'm not going to use my personal bias to rank the cars on my list, and I will admit that this is probably the most legendary, the most impactful, the best pop-up headlights car of all time. It is just that incredible. Do I personally like the F50 like 10 times better than the F40? Yeah. I would much rather own an F50, and I'm not afraid to say that, but the F40 is incredibly legendary still. Even if it is super overhyped, even if everybody says it's Ferrari's perfect road car and it doesn't even have AC and you can't roll the windows down all the way, even if people say that and they're incredibly stupid for saying that, I still will admit that this car is truly the best pop-up headlights car. You look at a Ferrari F40 and it doesn't matter who you are, and you immediately know that car means something. That is a car that did something that no other car has done before, and that is incredible. God bless the Ferrari F40. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video of the top 17 best cars with pop-up headlights. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please just like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Make sure you hit that like button, because that way I can maybe afford some better tape, because as you see, it is no longer there. It has fallen off. I think it's maybe because the window's open, or maybe just because I didn't put enough tape down. But yeah, we gotta figure that out. It's on my back now. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Das Vidania, and have a nice night.